Alright, what do we got here? We got some loser working out in his garage. He's got, what, 315 pounds on a bar? What's he doing? He's going to squat it? It's getting into place. It's starting to go down. I'm already falling asleep. Hope the whole video ain't like this. Alright, it's time for my favorite content, which is response to comments. I love them. But you guys are being entirely too nice to me. I don't have the rude, derogatory ones. I gotta start doing more Warhammer videos. And start making more of my incel Chud edition drawings. Sexy female Marines. I get lots of spicy comments with those. I did accidentally delete a comment, and I totally regret it, because I don't normally delete comments ever. Like, not even ones that are super derogatory. That's how I get my content, you know? That's where we get our humor from. But the comment, I remember it, I just don't remember who sent it. And you know what, I just got off work. It was super hot, I was drained. I walked in the door, and I checked my comments, and it just hit me. And it said, "Do you sound sick because of the massive amount of steroids you take," or something like that? And I was just like, I don't even want to explain anything to this person. I just deleted it. And then as soon as I deleted it, I thought of like, oh, duh, you know, and I couldn't find it, and I didn't know who sent it. It was just one of those, you know, one of those comments that people write just to kind of piss you off, you know, just to belittle you. And I get those all the time, and I like those because that's what we use to make funny content. You say something stupid, I say something stupid back, we all have a good laugh, right? No, but the reason I deleted the comment initially is because I just get sick of explaining this. Because people don't believe you. So it's almost like, why even bother? Why even try to bother explaining it? But it's like, nobody, if you haven't watched any of my videos, you might think that I might be one of those guys that's lying about being on PEDs or steroids, or doesn't want to admit that he is. And it's like, I don't care less. Like, I didn't do it for you. You know what I mean? But I always say the same thing. I've only been on PEDs since the age of 46. I'll be 50 in 2 weeks. So that's 4 years. Before that, I was a high-level competitor, and I was roughly the same size physically. I'm a little more cut up and muscular, but I was roughly the same size. Still, record-holding power lifter, I think in 2 weight classes. The only difference was I competed in the tested division, and now I compete in the untested division. Here's the thing. The comment suggests that anybody who looks like me is on steroids. Yes, this is obviously true. But, context, what kind of steroids? There's hundreds of compounds you could be on in hundreds of different amounts to get hundreds of different effects. So to just say steroids, like that's very reductive. One, they assume that we're on a ton of drugs. Otherwise, how could you possibly look like that? And usually it's people that are just like, they don't have great physiques themselves, and they're not achieving their goals. So anybody they see that's doing okay, they just assume it's just on a ton of stuff. And two, no, I'm actually not. Right this minute, I'm cruising. Like, so when we do cycles for competition, I'll go on certain compounds to achieve a certain effect for a certain date, which is usually competition. And after that, I back off to usually just something a little bit above what is normally prescribed to maintain what I have and try not to lose any strength. You're always going to lose a little bit. And there's, you know, the evidence would be, go back and look at some of my earlier videos when I first started posting, and you could see when I was 100% natural, and you can see what my body looked like then, and what it looks like now, and you compare the two, and you can say, well, yeah, he was actually, as a natty, he was pretty big dude. He had a pretty good physique. He was pretty strong. Now he's stronger. Now he's a little bit bigger. But the difference isn't that extreme. You know what I mean? And mostly that's because I do try to maintain a weight class. If I wasn't trying to maintain a weight class and I just wanted to bulk up, I could probably get up to 260 pounds if I wanted to. But since I do maintain a weight class, which I do for a lot of reasons. One is just because it's easier on the body. If I put on a bunch of weight, it's really hard on the knees. And two, like, women, like my wife, she doesn't want to see that. She's not looking for a silverback gorilla. So I try to stay right on that edge of like unreasonable, like, to where I'm just doing this shit for other dudes. You know? But no, it's like, get it out of your head, man. You don't do drugs all year round. If you did, you'd die. Like, it would kill you. I'm going to be 50 next year. I want to live to be 51. So, I don't know. I just thought I would throw that out there because there's a lot of misconceptions with the whole thing. They think that, oh, he looks good. He's on a bunch of drugs. Yes, but for how long? How much? What drugs? You know, there's lots of... If you want to know how the sausage is made, ask me and I'll tell you. But no, right now I'm hardly on anything at all. And I didn't wither away and die. Mostly because I had it to begin with. I have noticed that in a lot of my videos I do sound raspy and nasally and stuffed up and coming out of this voice and like that. And I thought it maybe did merit some discussion. Like, why does your voice get like that? Well, I just got off a construction site. It's 110 degrees out. There's dust everywhere. Probably should wear a mask, but we're all too manly for that. I have really bad allergies too, so I do get stuffed up a lot. Now, I've had my nose broken 4 times, and on top of all the drugs I used to do, where I should have a septum, it probably looks like, I don't know what it looks like up there, but my sinuses are collapsed and smashed, and it's pretty ugly. I mean, you see a big dent in my nose. It's been reset a few times, and the cartilage you can just push right in. So I am like one side half the time I can't breathe, and I'm always just stuffed up. And if I don't take my allergy pills, it gets pretty bad. If I remember to take my allergy pills and I clear everything out, I use like a little neti pot, I'm okay. Like right now I have a voice of an angel. But a lot of times I am pretty stuffed up. I actually probably should. My doctor was looking at it and said that they could probably go in there and fix that. And that's, one of the things I thought about doing, but I'm like, I don't know, I just don't think about it. It's like my lip and my teeth, and it's like, I'm going to be 50 next year. If my wife can tolerate looking at me, I don't see the need to do all that. But then sometimes I think, it'd be nice to be purty, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'll be like, I'll call Doc tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, and I'm like, I'll call him tomorrow, and then, rinse and repeat. I don't know. There's other stuff I'd rather be doing, I guess. So before I dive into the comments, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the training I'm doing. So I'm doing squats twice a week, and the first day is what I call a technical day. It's like lighter weights. Like today I only worked up to 495 pounds, and I was doing mostly really slow tempo, so squatting with a count 1, 2, 3, and then pausing and going as deep as I can. And really what I'm working on is my weak areas. So my goal is to be able to squat 700 pounds come October. The most I've ever squat in the gym is somewhere around 650 in my garage here. The most I've ever attempted in competition was in March, and that was 630, and I would have had it too, but I stumbled. So it didn't count, but the strength was there. Now, the most I've ever gotten in competition that's on record is 608. That puts me at second or third highest in the world for my weight and age. And now, once I turn 50, I'm going to be way above everybody, especially if I drop down to the 198 weight class. Oh man, I'm primed to really just mop up, because I'm going into it strong, trained, ready to go. But I need to work on my weak area. What's weak? For me, getting below depth is weak. Why is it weak? I have to remember to open my hips up, and I have severe knee pain and ankle mobility issues. So the squats that I'm doing on the first day are designed to attack my technical deficiencies. My second day is going to be more my normal programming, where we go for it, the heavier stuff. So all this stuff that I'm doing right now is more important than the heavy stuff. And all this stuff right here, this lighter weight stuff, is all stuff that you could be doing to improve the quality of your life and increase your range of motion. Because the number one thing that people our age need to be doing is mobility work. It's not about how strong you are. It's about, can you bend over and touch your toes? Can you tie your shoes while you're standing up? Can you squat down to pick things up? Does it hurt when you have to get on your knees for something? Are you all beat to crap because of 50 plus years of life and working and all that crap? Well, I'm your boy, because all that little stuff that I do, all this foo-foo stuff that nobody really seems to like, is all the stuff that I do to maintain my flexibility and mobility and all that stuff. And you know, what's cool about it is it's not heavyweight, so it's all lightweight stuff, and you kind of ease into it. So wherever your starting point is, wherever your mobility is right now, if you can bend over and almost touch your toes, that's where we start from. If you can do a quarter squat where you can sit down and you're like 60 degrees, that's where we start from. So it's not about can you do an ass to grass squat, it's how do you get to do an ass to grass squat. Because I've been working for 3 years straight and I still can't get my butt to touch my ankles, but I'm getting really close. And it's just been, you know, it really makes working everyday stuff at work, climbing ladders, walking stairs, doing all the stuff we need to do in construction, it makes everything so much easier. And then I can still come home and play with my kids, and that's what's really important. And we can get you there. Hit me up. Now, the second part of this video is my cardio, boxing. Now, I am training with a professional trainer, me and my daughter, and I am taking my training very seriously. I enjoy boxing. I like getting punched in the face. I like when people try to let me hit them back. Hopefully it's mutual, but unless it's my wife, then she can just slug away. do your worst, woman. But no, so all that aside, it has really nothing to do with wanting to fight. It's cardio. Boxing is some of the best cardio you can do. It's cathartic. You can get your stress out. It's just awesome all around. And even if you have no intentions of ever putting your hands on anybody or doing it competitively or stepping in a ring, it is still the best cardio you could do. You set a timer for a few minutes and you punch, and it works everything. You punch, you move around a little. It works your core, it works your arms. You will sweat your butt off, and it is way, way, way more effective than a treadmill. Running, walking, we still do walking. Walking's just good. It's just good to walk. But you don't want to have walking as your only form of cardio. Boxing, that's where it's at, man. It checks off all the boxes. It's fun. It's all in one spot. It's good for you, and you get life skills out of it. Win-win, right? I rant way too long. We're halfway in, all right? I'm just getting to the first comment. Okay, so comment number 1. Oh, I need glasses. That's not her name. I need glasses. ALTIN Altian 00. LOL. Warhammer is not, quote, men's spaces unless you're incredibly insecure. Yes, I'm insecure. This is what I call being pedantic. You know, how long did I rant for? I illustrate my idea of a female custodian responding to comments. That whole thing, that's what you can find to pick on. Come on, man. No, I stand by every word I said. I honestly think, like, the lower... No, okay, well, let me clarify. So you are right. I will say this. My daughter plays Adaptus Astartes. She's not, obviously not a man. And I don't want her to play Astartes. It's men's only. You know damn well that's not what I meant. I meant that the lore stated that it's only men that become Astartes. Men's only. So stop it. And I guess that makes me insecure because I think that the lore is fine the way it is, and that everybody should stop inserting their politics into what I consider to be a really good story. That's awesome. And yeah, I 100% agree. You guys should just stay the hell out of it. Make your own stuff. Quit ruining ours. Okay? Well, it's not yours. It's evolving. It's becoming ours. Okay, you're right. We'll leave. We'll take our money with us, and we'll see how long your tiny percentage of non-paying activists hold out before Amazon buys you up because the stock tanks and you're no longer a viable company. and then turns it into what a Warhammer 41K look like. RuPaul's drag show. Grim Bright. Oh man, I don't know. I just don't even understand why the conversation's so stupid. It's like if you look at the premise of the war game or war games in general, why is there a need to be like? I don't feel represented in a what's essentially like a Roman. What would you even call it? Like it's not even fascism. It's like a Holy Roman Empire plus space weapons. Is that right? No, it's not even. I mean, there's a faction for everybody. Oh, I was thinking about this for all of my LGBT plus alphabet Wi-Fi password people. You guys actually have your own faction. It's Slaanesh, the demon. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. It's like you are 100% totally represented. And if a Space Marine was to transition in one way or another, it would probably be considered as Slaaneshi demon possession, which would make you a Chaos Marine, and then you would be hunted down by the Inquisition. Oh man, pedantic. Pedantic. Say it with me. Pedantic. That's like my coworker. I shot him a text and I said, "Hey bro, can we use C-clamps for fall protection? Because I noticed the guys are tying off to those." And he goes, well, actually, those are bridge clamps. Those aren't C-clamps. You know what I mean? It's just, yes, you are right. It's a bridge clamp. It's not a C-clamp. Thank you for making the distinction. Are you really going to make me type out, can the guys tie off the bridge clamps? It's just, you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, that's being pedantic. To correct somebody online over something minor when you know exactly what they're talking about, that is pedantic. And everybody sees you as that person. Well, actually, you're just insecure. Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess I am in a lot of ways. Body dysmorphia, stuff like that. Yeah, but about this, no, not at all. I mean, not like insecure. What is that? Am I insecure? I'm annoyed for sure. Definitely annoyed. Insecure. No, it doesn't fit. I don't know. I don't see it. You'd have to provide me for more context because I don't even know what that. I don't even know what that means. Are you saying like men who are unaccepting or don't want, if they want their own space, they're insecure for wanting their own space? Because I actually think there's great value in men's having their own space. I think there's great value in women's having their own space. I think that as we grow up and we learn, we mentor best with like kids. Young men will learn from older men, rite of passage type stuff. Young girls will learn from older women, rite of passage stuff. And there's definitely times when everybody should be together, and there's times when we do better apart, mostly because of the raging hormones and like what our bodies are doing as we get older. So that's going to be really confusing times for a lot of kids. And I actually think a lot of what's happening with all this transgender stuff is because that's not being handled properly and those spaces don't exist anymore. So, I definitely think there's a great value in that. Now, you might disagree with me, but that doesn't make me insecure. That makes you insecure because you're really closed-minded to an opposing viewpoint. I think there's a conversation to be had for sure. Now, you probably don't have the context for what it was like to have that space growing up. So, missing that context, I can see where you wouldn't value it like we did. But we did. We have the context, and we've seen the before and after. We've lived both experiences where we've lived in a time where this was considered a mental health issue, and now we're living in a time where it's being pushed propaganda of like by ideologues. And I think it's you're being used for nefarious purposes, meant to divide us on a societal level so that so levers of control can seize more power. But that's a totally different discussion. That's like, you follow like the communist playbook, like where in the past it would have been like the workers' revolution or class warfare. Now they're using race and gender, and for those of us who studied that, we can see it clear as day. It's like 101 right down the list. But if you don't have that, context, I could see how you would think that that's like, it sounds insane, really. I get that, but that's where it's really important to learn history and real history. You gotta really dig in. You gotta understand what has happened before, so you can prevent it from happening again. And that's what we're trying to do, is present you with what happened then so it doesn't happen again, because we don't want it. And we're going to stand up against it. But we're not going to live forever, unfortunately. Sputnik 128. In response to my video where I talked geopolitics while painting Warhammer miniatures. Yeah, he totally stole it off a hobby table at the local shop. LOL, that's why there was paint in it, in referring to the airbrush that I bought from a tweaker. The second comment that he wrote says, I definitely can't say for sure, but it's the first thing I thought. Compressor was probably plugged in or on the floor and he couldn't snag it, or he bought it, realized he didn't know how to use it, and just wanted to get rid of it. If that helps assuage your guilt, use the second scenario. Because I said I kind of felt bad buying it from him, because he did kind of, when I gave him the money, he kind of made a comment like, I was really hoping to keep that. And I'm like, well, do you want to sell it? I thought he was maybe just trying to get more money out of me, when I realized, I think I showed, so I got the $20 out, I looked at the airbrush, and I might have looked like I got excited. I don't have a poker face. And when he saw that, he maybe thought, like I was thinking that maybe he thought he could get some more money out of it. Like he started to do that thing, well, I should probably ask a little more than $20. And I was like, take it or leave it. But then I started feeling bad because the look on his face, he looked so dejected. And I don't know if that's because he had to part with the airbrush or because he didn't get more money out of me. But either way, I'm just like, I don't know. I felt icky about the whole thing. It was definitely not the second one. I can assure you. Like, this guy was a fresh one. He was a little twitchy. You know what I mean? I don't know what he did with that $20, but I did not see him walk back into the 7-Eleven, so I doubt it was food. I don't know what $20 buys you these days. Back in the day, you could get pretty messed up for $20. I'm imagining inflation's probably hurting meth prices. I don't know. I've been out of the market for well over a decade. So, all right, Hermanaliteo 6452. It's a good introductory airbrush. I use it for big steps, base coating, main color, zenithal, and varnish. And that's very similar to James Solson 5133. Iwata makes a nice airbrush from my experience. So, I have cheap airbrushes. I think I spent like $35 or $40 on, let's see, what is this one? This one says Master Airbrush. And this one works pretty good. It's a knockoff of a nicer brand. And it's got a really nice reservoir, and it came with different needles, so you can change from a 0.5 to a 0.3. And this one, for the money, actually has a lot of nice features. And on just 30, it's got a nice adjuster on the back, the regulator, decent trigger. It makes really nice lines. So I would say for $30, this is one of the best airbrushes you can buy. If you're cheap or you're broke, you just want to get into it and get started, I would totally recommend this. But like cheap airbrushes, after I started realizing like what the difference was between the cheap ones and the good ones, and you start noticing that with acrylics, if they're not thin properly, they still have a chance to like shmoo up, and they'll make sputters. When you're trying to get really fine details, and if you let these sit for a little bit too long, they'll start drying up in the nozzles. You know the problems. I've noticed what little, I haven't done my head-to-head test because I want to do a video on those, but so far the Iwata has been really, really awesome. I've just done a few test runs of it. Now here's something interesting. This was $60. This is an off-brand airbrush, and it has the compressor built into it. This is a little air compressor, and it does 33 or 64 psi, something like that. The batteries don't last super long, but for like doing like base coating, stuff like that, the finishes, this thing kicks butt. I love it. I love the fact that the compressor's built in. I believe that this airbrush was designed to paint nails, so it's like for a beautician. And it likes acrylics pretty decently. All three of these actually will do a nice straight line. The question is, for how long? Before they start gumming up, and you know, how much use can you get out of them before they start becoming a real pain in the butt? And to be expected, this one's the worst. The master one, okay, and the Awada is so far the best. So I haven't had the experience of having like a really, really, really nice high-end airbrush. And when I get some money, I would like to buy one just to see. But yeah, so far so good. Well, shucky darn, I didn't get that through that many comments. And man, I turned the fans off in the garage so that it picks up my voice good when I'm recording. And I'm here to tell you, it got hot really quickly, so I'm going to turn that swamp cooler back on, and I'm going to cool off. I love you guys. I will see you on the battlefield. As always, leave me some comments. Give me some ammo. Let's drum up some content for me.